Joel,
Yes, Ray.
I've heard you use the race to zero, and our topic today is no one wins the race to zero. How does this topic come up with your consulting customers? Because I can't imagine someone saying, I want to charge less.
You're right. Nobody wants to charge less, but when people are struggling for sales, they are willing to give the world up in order to get a client with billing, particularly in the early days of trying to get that first client or the first 5 clients. And you end up so far underselling a job, and you ask mistake type questions like, well, what's the lowest price that someone's already quoted you?
Oh,
So then they cut the price 10, 15, 20% without even realizing what their price is or encompasses.
you're even assuming that person's going to tell you the truth.
Having made that mistake myself when I started out, sometimes they do. They will show you a proposal of what someone's given them. And then the first thought everybody's, oh, I'll beat it by 10%. I worked for a company that was notorious for ask the client on the way out if they liked you best, tell them that you will beat the lowest price they receive by 10% just to get the work.
That seems like suicide, Joel. I have to tell you.
It is suicide because you take any 2 companies. What are they paying for their liability insurance? What's the rate per 1,000? What's their worker comp rate per 100? Those are insurances, but most companies aren't paying the same price per 1,000 or per 100. There's too many factors. Where's your company located? What types of companies are you doing? How long are you in the industry? What's the turnover rate? What's your accident rate? What's your injury rate? If you don't have any of that, they assume the worst because they have no history. So your insurance rates are going to be higher. Now you take a little bit more established company that might be struggling to get to that $250,000 worth of business. They've been around for 3 or 5 years. They have some mod rates that can be looked at. What is this person really doing? What is the true risk that this company has out? So no 2 companies are going to be looked at the same. Where are the employees that you hire? What are the zip codes that they live in? That makes a difference with your insurance as well. Yeah. They consider some zip codes in different communities a higher risk for even the employees. Well, that's what insurance companies do. They're assessing risk.
Yeah, it's the law of large numbers.
Yes. And then the other parts are, what equipment do you need? Are you leaving it behind? Are you transferring it from client to client? If you're transferring it from client to client, what type of vehicle do you have? What's the insurance on that? What's your driving record? If one person has a clean driver's record and the other one has several speeds, a couple of accidents, the cost is a lot higher.
So looking at all those, we'll say them insurable risk problems, those are not the only threats precipitating the race to zero.
No. First thought is that everybody's the same price because the clients just think everybody's price is the same. And it's not. All those factors go into what makes up a price. But when somebody's struggling, maybe they can't get a regular 9-to-5 job. Maybe they don't want to work for somebody else. So they want that job. They are willing, because, oh, well, I'm going to do the work, so it doesn't matter what I make. Eventually, it's going to matter how much you make. Because at some point, when you're no longer the only person in the company, you have to pay somebody. And there's a minimum wage. Every state is different. Some states are much higher. New York State, where I'm located, is one of the higher rates in the nation. There's a set every year. It goes up by the cost of inflation. So I don't even know from year to year what my next price is going to be because it gets set on December 30th.
Even if we're talking to a brand new cleaning company owner, maybe there are 3 people. Perhaps they've quoted this job so that the owner's the one cleaning it. Hey, I don't care. I need this job. We're going to take it. I'll do it myself. I don't have to pay anybody else for this.
And then that job takes 10 hours longer than you expected.
There is an opportunity cost. For those who are not familiar with that term, that means the thing that you have chosen to do will keep you from doing at least one other thing. There's only so many hours. You're performing service. We've all done it as owners, but you realize that while you were doing that, you can't do another thing. It seems to me that's also part of this race to zero.
It is. People see cleaning as a commodity. They don't realize how labor intensive it is. Most clients will even look at as, well, I could do that job in an hour. Well, I could do that job in 4 hours. I could do that job in 6. Whatever it is in their mind. And then they're like, $10 an hour. Well, I'm sorry, minimum wage is more than $10 an hour, but that's kind of the price point that they put on that. So if they see it's a 6-hour job, they're thinking it's $60 cost to do it.
When counseling one of your cleaning customers, I imagine one of the topics you hit on is communicating your value.
Yes, we definitely talk about.
What else do you talk about?
We talk about the real cost of doing business. There's so much that goes into it. There's always your fixed costs. You have your non-fixed costs. And one of the biggest non-fixed costs I can think of is like gasoline, because we go to the pumps every day and we drive by and we see different prices throughout our cities. And sometimes it can fluctuate day to day. We're in an industry where you got to drive from building to building. They don't come to you. They don't bring their building to your building and say, hey, clean this. You have to go to it. There's a cost just to even get there. And that's a variable cost. Now, my website that I pay a fee every single month for, that's a fixed cost. So I can spread that overhead over however many accounts, and that doesn't change. But the more accounts I have, the higher my gas bill is going to be every month.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between a fixed cost and a variable cost. How do you determine your variable costs? It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because it's going to depend how many jobs you're going to look at, how many jobs you have to cover, what's the current price of gasoline, what are the times a year when the gas prices go up or down, is it a holiday, and oof. So there's all these other factors. Did a distillery just break down and now there's less supply? Because it's all supply and demand. And that's what janitorial is. The other problem with janitorial is there's about 1.3 million janitorial companies in the United States. 1.3 million. Guessing that means that there's several cleaning companies in our own communities. It's not the type of industry where we're few.
Joel, we have to wrap this one up.
This is a deep topic.
It is. We may be revisiting this.
We probably should.
To the owner who's listening, if you have found yourself tempted to just get that job in, I encourage you, reach out to Joel. Go through your concerns. He has counseled so many owners on how not to bankrupt their business.
That is a true story.
Yeah. Yeah. Joel, thank you.
You're welcome.